You think you'd know if someone was playing you. You wouldn't. Not because you're stupid, because getting played was never designed to be noticed while it's happening. It's only ever obvious in the rearview mirror. Here's how to see it while it still matters. The reason you never see it coming. Here's the first thing to understand about getting played. It doesn't feel like being played while it's happening. It feels like being chosen. That's not an accident. That's the mechanism. Psychologists studying manipulation and deception describe something called strategic self-presentation, the deliberate management of how someone appears to you, timed to match exactly what you're hoping to find. Someone who wants something from you doesn't lie about everything. She mirrors your interests, escalates affection at the exact pace that keeps you leaning in, and disappears at intervals just long enough to make you chase, not so long you actually leave. None of this feels calculated from your side. It feels like chemistry. That's the whole design. Here's what makes it hard to catch. Your brain isn't built to interrogate someone who's making you feel good. When someone consistently reflects your ego back at you, agrees with your opinions, laughs at your jokes, tells you you're different from other guys, your nervous system reads that as safety, not suspicion. The better it feels, the less your guard goes up. That's backwards from how threat detection is supposed to work. And it's exactly why the people best at this game are rarely the ones who feel manipulative. They feel like relief. The men who get played hardest aren't gullible. They're usually the ones who've been starved of that kind of attention for a while. Scarcity turns off scrutiny. When you haven't felt chosen in a long time, you stop asking, why is this so easy? And start just being grateful it's happening. Here's what this means going forward. Stop grading people on how good they make you feel in the moment. That metric is the one being engineered. Start grading on consistency between what someone says and what they actually do when nothing's being asked of them. Words are cheap and easy to align with your ego. Behavior under no pressure is the only signal that's hard to fake for long. The investment trap that keeps you from walking away. Once you're a few weeks or months into something, there's a second mechanism working against you, and it has nothing to do with her. It's built into your own psychology. It's called the sunk cost fallacy, and it's brutal in relationships specifically because the cost isn't money. It's time, vulnerability, and identity. The longer you've invested in someone, the harder it becomes to admit the investment was based on a false read, because admitting that means admitting you were wrong. Not just about her, about your own judgment. So instead of cutting losses when the red flags show up, most men do the opposite. They double down because doubling down protects the ego from having to face the mistake. This is exactly how someone who isn't fully invested can keep a man on the hook far longer than the relationship's actual quality would justify. She doesn't need to give you more. She just needs to give you enough on an unpredictable schedule to keep the investment from ever fully resolving into a clear yes or no. Behavioral psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement, the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. Consistent reward is easy to walk away from. Inconsistent reward is nearly impossible to, because your brain keeps chasing the next unpredictable hit instead of averaging out the pattern. Put those two things together, sunk cost plus intermittent reinforcement, and you get men who can list 5 red flags out loud and still can't make themselves leave. It's not weakness. It's 2 well-documented psychological mechanisms working against you at the same time. And once you can name them, they lose a huge amount of their grip. So here's the one question worth sitting with. How much of what you're still holding on to is about her? And how much of it is about not wanting to admit you read the situation wrong? Sit with that for a second before you answer it. The test for whether someone is actually playing you. You don't need to become paranoid to protect yourself. You need one reliable filter, and it's simpler than most men think. Watch what happens when you stop chasing. Psychologists who study relationship dynamics point to a consistent pattern. Genuine connection tolerates a pause. If you pull back slightly, someone who's genuinely invested will notice, close the gap, and re-engage, because the relationship matters to them independent of the chase. Someone who's playing a role, on the other hand, treats your withdrawal as a threat to supply. not a relationship to repair. And what you'll see instead is escalation of exactly the behaviors that hooked you in the first place. Sudden extra affection, dramatic reassurance, intensity that appears specifically the moment you show signs of losing interest, then evaporates again once you're rehooked. That's the tell. Real investment shows up steadily, even when it's boring, even when nothing's at stake. Manufactured investment shows up in spikes, almost always timed to exactly when it's needed to keep you from leaving. One is a person, the other is a supply management system, and you happen to be the supply. Run this test quietly, without announcing it, without turning it into an ultimatum. Just pull back your effort by a notch and watch what fills the space. If it's genuine concern and steady re-engagement, you're probably dealing with something real. If it's a sudden spike of intensity that fades right back to baseline once you're rehooked, you already have your answer, whether you want to hear it or not. Why understanding this doesn't make you bitter, it makes you free. Here's how everything ties back together, and back to the hook. You'll never fully prevent someone from trying to play you. That's not the goal. And chasing that goal turns you paranoid and exhausting to be around. The actual goal is smaller and far more achievable, catching it early enough that it costs you weeks, not years. Every mechanism covered here, strategic self-presentation, sunk cost, intermittent reinforcement, the withdrawal test, has one thing in common. They all rely on you not knowing they exist. The moment you can name what's happening to you in real time, most of the power these mechanisms hold over you evaporates. You're not immune to being manipulated. Nobody is. But you go from being an easy target who finds out 2 years too late to someone who notices in week 3 and adjusts accordingly. This is also, importantly, not a reason to walk into every relationship assuming the worst. Most people aren't running a con. Most people are just people, inconsistent and human in ordinary ways. The skill here isn't suspicion, it's discernment. Knowing the difference between someone who's simply nervous and someone who's engineering your nervous system on purpose. That distinction is everything, and it's exactly what separates the men who keep getting burned from the ones who don't. Understanding this doesn't make you cold, and it doesn't make you bitter. It makes you someone who can still open up to people, because you're no longer doing it blind. Everything covered in this video is grounded in real psychology, self-presentation research, behavioral conditioning, and how genuine investment actually shows up compared to manufactured intensity. Not opinion, not bitterness, just the mechanics. If one of these 4 points hit you harder than the rest, drop a comment and tell me which one. I read every single one. If this is your first time here, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and turn notifications on, because the Unseen Mind puts something like this out every week, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Speaking of which, the video right next to this one goes even deeper into exactly how manipulators pick their targets in the first place. Watch that one next. Seeing clearly isn't the same as being jaded. It's the difference between getting played and getting it right. I'll see you back here soon.